Hi everyone, welcome back to Felsbrunn. It's 7 o'clock in the evening. I've put everything away, although I think we'll get something out again. I did a survey on YouTube about what animal everyone would like to see us work with. And out of 120 some votes, 47% of those voted for cows. So it's going to be cows. But as I mentioned, cows are a little bit expensive. So I've been thinking about how to get started without going completely broke. And I think the first question that needs to be answered is whether I want to work with bales or whether I want to work with loose materials. The nice thing about bales is that they are saleable. So when you have extra bales, it's easy to sell them. And the other nice thing about them is that you have nearly unlimited storage capacity because, versus using a loft, because you can store much more. There's a placeable hay and straw loft, but it only holds 200,000 liters, which is equivalent to 50 bales. So we have two ways of getting this stuff to feed the cows. One would be to get a barn, a loft, and we could store hay and straw in there. And then we could also get a small silage pit and use that for the silage. So the storage barn or the hay loft, whatever you want to call it, that costs $90,000, and then the smallest silage pit, silage clamp, bunker, whatever you want to call it, would be $15,000 or $16,000. Okay, so for a little over $100,000, we would have the ability to store all of that stuff. Let's see. Turn it on is X. I'm just going to start fertilizing the field for the next crop. This one at least, because this one doesn't have straw. All right, so that would be method one. And then the nice thing about that is that it makes it real easy to make feed. We just get one of those mixing wagons. We go under the hay loft and we put some hay in it. We can put some straw in it. And then we would use a shovel, starting with the front loader on this tractor. And we would use a shovel to put silage in there. And then we can make total mixed ration. So with that method, we could go to total mixed ration almost immediately and get 100% productivity from the cows. Now, if we went the route of using bales, we would need to buy a baler. Now, the cheapest round baler is $49,000. So we could do that. We could get a $49,000 baler. With that, we could bale straw and hay. We would need a wrapper to get silage bales. And I don't recall what the wrappers cost. Let's check here real quick. I think that's with the balers. Right, so this round baler and then that wrapper. Oh, that wrapper's a lot more expensive than I thought. Okay, we could use this wrapper. This one only does round bales, but that's much less expensive. And then we would get this thing to pick up the bales. $39,000, because I'm not picking up bales off the field with a fork. We've already gone over that. I'm not going to do that. So we'd be looking at $8,200 plus 50. That's actually not bad. Plus 39,000 for the bale picker upper, right there that can carry 8 bales at a time. So that'd be 40. That'd be close to 100,000. So I guess both options would be pretty similar in price. We either get the barn and the silage clamp, or we get the baler, the wrapper, and the bale picker upper. That would be for round bales. Eventually I would want to upgrade to square bales because those get made much quicker. Round bales, the problem with round bales is that you have to manually empty the baler every time it fills up, and with these fields we're talking about a lot of bales. But then, like I said, the other nice thing about bales is that you can sell them, and you can get decent money for straw and hay bales, and you can get a lot of money for silage bales. Whereas if we did everything loose, then we could sell silage, but I think it's you have to own the land that the BGA is on before you can sell anything at the BGA, I think. Or maybe it's just to use the clamp. I don't remember. I'll have to check that. So maybe going with the baler would be the best thing to do. And we could always change it later. In fact, I think I would want to change it later because like I said, my patience with handling bales is somewhat thin. But the nice thing about that is we could buy the baler. Actually, we could just buy the baler and the trailer now. We have enough money for it. We can make some money on straw bales. We can store some straw bales for later. And then after that, all we need is a mower and a tedder. And then we would be able to start feeding cows at 75% productivity just with hay and straw and water. Now the cow pen is going to cost $100,000. So, we're going to need another harvest to get all this going, but the cow pen is going to cost another $100,000. We have the cows themselves that we have to buy. Those are $2,500 each. And then we'll need the milk and water trailer, which is 20 something. So we need a couple more good harvests before we're going to have all this set up. But that's okay. I'm not in a hurry, and I hope you're not either. Hopefully you're enjoying watching the progression. I think when you play the game a little bit, at least for me, when I play the game a little bit slowly, like to the point where I find myself getting impatient from time to time, when I finally do get those objectives met, that makes it a little more rewarding rather than, playing on easy mode where you just have money rolling in and you're buying new equipment every time you pick up something off the field. I'm trying to straighten out these rows. Since the last episode, I have upgraded my graphics card. So I'm now running a GTX 1070, which is not exactly cutting edge, but it's better than the GTX 980 that I had previously. I think it's like a couple years newer, at least a couple generations, I think. So hopefully you see an improvement in the graphics quality. I was already running at very high settings, so I'm continuing to do so now, but it does look a lot smoother. I think I'm getting higher frame rates now than I was before. I'm sure of it. I just don't know how high they were. The other thing is that the new card seems to run a lot cooler. I know it uses less power, which certainly means less heat. And that means it's quieter because the fans don't need to run as at a high speed like my previous one did. So I'm definitely enjoying that. I like a nice quiet system. And then I've also increased the settings on my recording software. Again, I bumped them up significantly a couple of videos ago, but I was still seeing, I still wasn't really satisfied with the result. So I bumped it up again. I'm recording at 50 megabits now, megabits per second. And hopefully that's going to come through with nice sharp video without a lot of JPEG looking stuff on it. So we'll get this field fertilized and then we can plant it. We did soybeans. I'm tempted to do soybeans again or canola. I guess I'll do canola since I did soybeans last time. We'll just alternate. That seems to give us the best money. In fact, I think what I'll do is I'll do both of these fields with canola because I'm going to be getting a ton of straw. It's going to last me a long time. Especially if I'm starting with 10 or 20 cows. I'm probably going to end up getting 50 or 60 bales off of these two fields. And if that's the case, then I'll sell a bunch of them, and then I'll keep 16 or 24 of them, 2 or 3 stacks off of the trailer for the cows. And then anytime the straw starts getting low, then I can plant a cereal crop and get more straw. And then we're going to plant field 20 with grass so that the grass can start to grow. And then we'll cut that for hay and silage bales eventually. In fact, if I get myself the mower, I could start making silage bales right away. And the mower is only another $20,000. So we might be able to do that after we sell some, maybe even before we sell some bales. Oh, but I need the wrapper too. I don't know. We'll see. Because one thing I could do is I could just start mowing all this grass around the edges of my fields and sell silage bales, and that'll pick up some extra money. Because you could just put the mower on the front of the tractor and the baler on the back and just start baling grass 3 meters at a time, and then go wrap them and sell them, and we would be getting, I think we estimated about $1,200 per bale, and that'd add up pretty quick. So yeah, so I feel good about this. We'll do baling first, and then once we get more money, we'll add the cow pen, and then when we get yet more money, we'll buy a few cows. And hopefully the cows will be profitable. One thing I have noticed, I played around a little bit with cows in another game, but it does seem like in FS19 that the cows, like each individual cow, seems to consume a lot more food and water than in FS17. So I'm hoping that increased rate of consumption of resources will translate into increased output of milk. Because we're not going to have money to buy a lot of cows to begin with, and it would be nice if we could start getting some of the investment back fairly quickly. Okay, so I'm not gonna fertilize these other fields until we get the straw off of them. But we can get started on that, and we'll do field 20 first, and that way we can fertilize it and plant grass. Now, I've heard, or I've read that there's a bug on the PC that prevents grass getting to the final growth stage, and that's going to affect our yield on grass. I think that even with that issue, that we'll still have enough grass for whatever cows we end up with to start with. But hopefully they'll get that bug addressed. Now today they did release a beta version of patch 1.2, which has the terraforming tool and some other improvements. I haven't installed it yet, and I don't really want to right now because Giants has said that when you run that patch, that if and when you revert back to a non-beta version of the patch, that your save games might not work anymore. So I don't want to risk contaminating my saves by doing that. Not when I'm in the middle of a series. So I'm going to hold off until I hear a little bit more about how it's working. Okay, yeah. It's getting late in the day, but I think I'll... You know what? Let's, rather than taking this over to buy the baler, I think I would rather use this piece of equipment to start planting our crop, because the New Holland has some trouble pulling this seeder. And let's just check our field just to make sure that we don't need lime or anything like that. I think we do not. Yeah, it's ready to go. So we'll come over here and fill it up with seed. And we'll start planting canola. Okay, I need some help here. Let's see. Open cover. There we go. Seeds. Yes, please. And it fills up almost immediately. And we can hide that once again. And we got about 3,000 liters. That cost us... Yeah, I think that fill point there is the same price as buying pallets. Seems like it. All right, I'm going to start this up at the top of the hill. All right, let's change the seed. I went past it. That's canola. And then we'll take the New Holland over to get a baler. Let's get this straightened out. Still not quite as good with this as I was with my steering wheel, but I'm getting there. Okay. Get a worker on that. Beautiful. All right, let's open the door. I wonder if I should buy a front weight for this thing. I guess not. I haven't really seen a situation where I really needed one. So I guess I'll just hold off for now. Yikes. Okay, excuse me. Gotta watch where I'm going. Now the other option... Yeah, I think I'm going to take the other option here. The other option is I can buy the more expensive baler that also wraps bales. And that way I won't have to buy a wrapper. I mean, it's still going to cost me more, but it'll save me time. And I think I have enough money for it. 76 plus 39. What's the horsepower requirement on that thing? 140 versus 70. No, I think we go with the roll belt. And the reason I say that is because it says it needs 140 horsepower, and so does the square baler. And I've used the square baler on another map with a T6 or something comparable, and it was having a very hard time pulling it. So I'm afraid that this one might be too tough on the New Holland. And it would cost $6,000 to lease it just to find out. All right, so we'll go with the New Holland, the trusty old roll belt. Let's see how it looks with wide tires for another $500. All right, we'll splurge and get the wide tires. So we'll buy that. And then we'll buy the Ursus T127 bale collector, which comes with no options, which is fine. Okay, and then I've got 16 left, which is not quite enough to buy the wrapper and a mower. So we'll just hold off on those items for now. We don't quite have a use for them yet anyway. We'll take care of the straw first, and then with some of the money that we make from selling straw bales, which I think even keeping some of the straw bales, I'm thinking that we should be able to get 20 or 30 grand. Let's turn on our beacons and turn on the lights. It's starting to get dark. I rather enjoy working in the dusk hours like this. I think the lighting's really nice, and it makes the lights pop. That's for sure. So I'm not going to bail all of this on camera. I think you would probably start to wish I was doing something else by the time I finish. But we'll get started, and then I'll finish it up off camera, and then I'll accelerate time to tomorrow morning. All right. Let's see. Beacons off. I'll keep the lights on. I need to unfold it, which is really quick. Bam, there it is. Turn it on. Lower the pickup. And start baling. All right, so we get to 4,000. We back up slightly. How do I unload this? Y. And then you have to close it again. So that's why the square baler is a lot more convenient to work with, because you don't have to do that. You just run and it continuously makes bales. And when bales are ready, they just drop off the back. You never have to stop. So it's quicker to work with. Let's turn on our... No, I don't like the back lights. Actually, I don't think we even need the front lights. This is fine. Yeah, so I'm just going to do every other strip here just to make it easier to move around the field. Just need a slight amount there. And I wish there was a way to turn off that beeping, but as far as I know, there isn't. Gets a little bit annoying. This needy piece of machinery. I want to see if I can get good enough with this that I can back up and open the cover at the same time. Although that takes a little more dexterity than what I'm used to in a video game. Okay, this is where I had my rows all messed up. And unfortunately, you can't get a worker to do this. So you have to do it yourself. Now, when course play becomes available, then you can get a worker to do it. Because what you do is you set up a course for your harvester, you save it, and then you get your tractor with the baler attached and have that run the same course. And it'll go over all the straw swath, and it'll empty the bales. It'll empty the baler automatically as it gets full. You know, it's smart enough to know what to do with the straw. Let me pick up this little bit. So once we have course play, and I think that's only going to be on PC, but I'll probably do this series without it, even when it's released, just because that was kind of the intention when I started the series, was to keep it to only use mods that are available on console as well. Although I've already broken my own rule with my fill point. I keep pushing my left button when I want to hit the brakes. I'm going to turn the lights on, at least the front lights, because it's starting to get a little dark. And God bless this little thing. It always gets to the point where it starts beeping just when I get to like the end of a row, so that I have to listen to it the entire time I'm turning around. Yeah, I got it. There we go. Okay, now we're back on relatively straight and parallel rows. And then I got to figure out where I'm going to store all these things. You know what? I think I can put them... I think for now I can stack them up in that place where I had originally intended to put a house. Next to the workshop. I think that'd be a good place to start stacking up bales. I'm not going to bother with a shelter for them just yet, because I don't have the money. But ideally you would want them covered so that they don't get rained on and start to rot. That doesn't happen in this game, but it would happen in real life. And if you were playing with Seasons mod, that would happen also. in Seasons Mod, your wet bales can rot. And then they just gradually disappear as they get wet. Well, they don't gradually disappear. They gradually reduce in quantity. So if you start with a bale that has 4,000 liters, then it would, the quantity of liters that you get from the bale would start to decrease. And then when it gets to 0, the bale just disappears. So it's not quite as realistic as just rotting away or whatever. But it serves the purpose. Okay. So, I think that's about all the time we have for this time. So I'm going to finish baling these fields. I mean, you can see how long it's taken me just to do this one. It is rather time consuming doing all this baling. But I'll get it done, and then I'll fast forward to the morning. And tomorrow we'll plant some grass. We'll plant canola in the other field, and we'll keep this moving forward. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.